I'll do the same. Okay, we're on. Thank you. I'd like to call this meeting of the Madison Public Schools Board of Education open. And please rise for the pledge of allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Is it the voting room at the flag?
They
Might be in the voting room.
They grabbed it.
Oh, they grabbed it.
Took the table. Sorry.
We were just pledging to a false flag.
Oh, I was thinking.
There you go.
See, and we all saw.
It's the thought that counts.
It was
It's the
right
thought that
there.
counts,
We
yes.
saw it.
Okay, all right, so now it's time for our school and community session and public participation.
Do we have anyone online? So during public comment, if you're joining us in person or online, we ask that you state your name and address. Comments are limited to 3 minutes in order for people to have an opportunity to speak. It should not be expected at public meetings like this that the board or administration will respond. If necessary, you will be contacted for follow-up. Do we have anyone online who would like to speak? If so, just raise your hand and you'll be called upon. Okay, do we have anyone in person who would like to speak? Okay.
Thank you. Next up is our Board of Education Student Representatives Report, Grace and Catherine, and I just wanted to take a quick moment to embarrass Grace, who was elevated to the quarterfinals, is it, for the Coca-Cola Award. Congratulations, that is awesome. There were, I think, 100 million students.
Oh, wow.
And out of them, you're like last 1,000 left or something like that, so
Congratulations.
congratulations, good luck. We certainly hope you win because it makes us look good. So
Thank
for
you.
your own
Can
sake.
you tell me what that is?
I probably Grace can tell you better than I
Yeah, it's
can, but
fine.
it's for leadership and academics.
Right, so the Coca-Cola scholarship has been around for over 20 years now, and it's one of the most prestigious awards because this year over 107,000 high school seniors applied. And from that initial application, 1,200 progressed to the semifinalist level, so I was one of that 1%. And next is the finalists, so they'll go from 1,200 to 250 for an interview. So I'll hear back in January about the next stage, but that was the program, and it's based off of like leadership, service, and academics. And I wanted to thank the board because I think that my leadership on this position has really helped me get there. So thank you for this opportunity.
Congratulations.
That's a lot of pressure.
Thank you. So we have a pretty brief report tonight, but last week marked the midpoint of our first trimester, meaning we are halfway through. Our exams will take place the first week of December, so unfortunately after Thanksgiving this year. Today was a half day for the high school because we had parent-teacher conferences where all parents with a child in high school were invited to speak with a teacher. It took place from before 12 to after 3, so there's ample time for meeting if necessary. And then we have been having advisory meetings on Wednesdays. That is an hour taken out of our academic schedule. And something new they've been doing this year is curating the different lessons towards the appropriate grade levels. So as a senior, we've been focusing a lot more on independence, career choice after high school, as well as finances, and looking at what colleges will be affordable, how to manage a credit card, really important life skills. So I think that's been a really positive shift.
And then just adding on to grades, so last week we had the PSAT, so 10th and 11th graders took that on Thursday and Friday of last week. The 10th graders took it, on Thursday, and something that was new this year is that they split it up so that A through K took it in the morning in the gym, and then K through Z took it in the afternoon. So both were held in the gym this year. Last year they split it up so that it was A through K was in the cafeteria, and then K through Z was in the gym, so they took it at the same time, but this year they split it up to be different times. But that overall went really well. It was obviously a stressful day for the students, but you got to do it at some point. And then the German exchange program ended, so they all went back. I know before they went back to Germany, they went to New York to end their trip, but I got to speak with a lot of them. It seemed like they had a really great time. So that's always like a super fun program that we do. I'm hoping that we get to do that next year as well. And then last week, you said progress reports. Yeah, so we were halfway through this trimester. That is crazy. And then homecoming is Saturday. And that will be semi-formal. I think I told you guys last week last meeting, we were deciding on what theme it was going to be between like masquerade, Halloween theme and semi-formal. And so we decided on semi-formal, which is the same as every year, but students always look forward to it. It's always a super well-attended event, and it's probably going to be well-attended this year as well. And then Halloween is this Friday. And so students are welcome to dress up in costumes. They're always like encouraged to on Friday to like have the Halloween spirit. There are some limitations, like you can't like fully cover your face, and there's other things as well. But other than that, students are more than welcome to dress up, and that's all we have.
Right, and a few Fridays back was the Spirit Day, especially for seniors. It was the Blue Day, and this year there was a major change, which was no paint. Now, we have been under the impression that paint was a right given to all students for the past few years, so some seniors were definitely disappointed with the new rule put in place, but after the thousands of damage that was caused to the building last year and vandalism being thrown around, we decided against it as a class officer. So we were able to opt to different alternatives, and we were able to have 2 pizza trucks to provide more food for the students. We had outdoor activities, and we ended with a pep rally. So even though it looked a little different this year, I think it was a really positive event. It was very clean. Students weren't upset, and the administration didn't get any calls and complaints because there was no damage to property this year. So it turned out to be a much better event. And then the football game last Friday was a pink theme for breast cancer awareness, and that was really well attended. The Tigers won, so we're 6-1 this season, looking pretty good, and we have Fairfield Prep next.
Thank you. Any questions for the reps? No? Thank you very much. You go do your homework, and we hope you have a Coke and a smile.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
Okay, next we have the superintendent's report, Dr. Cook.
Okay, yeah, number of items on the list today. First is our calendar. So the board has the school calendar for approval tonight. It is a return to our pretty traditional calendar that we've had up until the last 2 when we were working around opening up a new building. It has 182 student days, which is putting 1 back in. We had shortened it, to accommodate the packing and moving process, and then 188 total teacher work days. So that gives us 6 professional development days. First day of school is August 27th. Teachers would report back 3 days prior to that. We'd have new teachers in just prior to that as well. There's a 2-day February break, and our April break does align with the Learn calendar. That's why we wait, but we had pushed for them to come out with their calendar earlier this year. So we're actually a little bit ahead of schedule from normal. Although I've received more requests this year for the calendar than in past years, because I think we had it out for 2 years at a time. And I do think families appreciated that, but if you remember, we had to make a change to the April break to align with the other districts, because that was important as well. So the last day of school tentatively set for June 11th, so that would be a good timing. We know that will probably get impacted by weather. It's been run by PRC and administrative council as well as teacher leadership. And so we think we landed on a good calendar for the board to consider and hopefully approve tonight. Also before you is the CIP. And so we had worked on it over the summer. We were really excited to get that done in September 2nd, but 2 reasons to reconsider, the biggest being the financial piece, but also in working with the town very closely. They were very supportive of us moving up the Daniel Hand roof, which is in need of repair. It's over 20 years old, and looking at the health of it and having done all the HVAC work last summer, having a lot of foot traffic up there, it's important, and we moved that up to year 2. So that was a real positive move for us from year 4 to year 2. We also are removing a reoccurring cost of $25,000 for planning and engineering. And basically, I would refer to this as we've hired a construction manager who is super talented and is doing that work in-house. So I would attribute that to Ben's Whitaker's work with our district, and he and Pete Anderson no longer feel that is necessary. So that's a pretty significant savings. They're ongoing, so we're pleased with that. We did move pavement out of the 5-year plan. They felt comfortable doing that with some patching. We like to keep it in, but I think when we look at things financially, that was something we felt we could accommodate. And then also reducing some of the money from Brown windows. We do have some windows up front that need some work, so we wanted to keep some money in there. So there's $300,000 in the Brown window account that would be targeted for the windows needing it most. And then through all this process, we've lowered the total by about $2 million. However, as I mentioned, we did move up priorities. And I also want to point out too that $9.8 million is offset by state reimbursement for the roof and the windows. So the total impact to the town of Madison is not $9.8 million. It would be less than that by about 25% for those 2 projects, whatever we end up paying for the roof and whatever we end up paying for the windows. So I think that we feel comfortable. We've reviewed this with the administrative council, and we'd ask the board to approve that tonight. The town's very supportive of our needs and the work we have in front of us. And I think we want to make sure too that we're working, considering the whole town budget and how increases in CIP impact our operating budget, the town's operating budget. So I think it's very important that we look at that. In terms of just some general information, Aaron Fliss did start, our new Director of Administrative Services, started on Monday. We had a nice celebration for Art Seville last week. Art is with us all week, which is great. So we're giving Art and Aaron, a lot of time together to kind of pass off as much knowledge as possible. Art will still be available to Aaron after he leaves, but Aaron's hit the ground running. He's done the technology work in a similar district, so we're really pleased to have him here. He's learning the transportation piece and the food service, but really a quick study. So we're pleased and look forward to having him on the board soon.
And he'll be shared with the town.
He's still shared, yes, yeah. That position is still shared. The bulk of the work probably does occur on our side, but Aaron still will handle the technology needs for the town as well. And 2 pieces of good news from Cade. We received 2 Bonnie Carney Awards, which is their communications award. So we received an award for our Instagram account and an honorable mention for our policy website. So congratulations to So for doing that work, and thank you for putting us in, and thank you for Diane and the policy committee and the board for doing their work on policy. I think that we've done a good job to keep that updated and streamlined for parents. And I never really see our Instagram account because I don't have Instagram, but I am updating what's out there from time to time. So thank you so much. Congratulations. And then I just want to say, since I have the mic here, and I know we won't have Stephen Pinn with us any longer. I want to congratulate and thank Stephen for his time on the board. I know board members will be saying something later, but I always appreciate how you keep our focus on students, or as you always refer to them, as young people. And I think that referring to them as young people expands the conversation to much more than just their work in academics. And so I have always appreciated that. And I always appreciate your focus and bringing us back to what's most important. So thank you for all your time on the board and your work with the curriculum committee, especially, has been, tremendous. So thank you. That's any questions? Yeah.
So I just wanted to ask if you would comment on, I know that we had some parental questions or input into the calendar, how they were requesting a later start time like we did this past year, because they were really appreciative of it. And I thought you might just want to say a quick word to that?
Yeah, so one of the things that came up with that, and we get, I will say, we get lots of input on the calendar. We've had people ask for the full February break to return. We've had people ask for starting after Labor Day. So Labor Day next year is September 7th, so it'd be a
Pretty late.
pretty significant, late start on that. You know, we've asked for even just a little bit later. We found that starting on a 5-day week is pretty tough for students and staff, and I think that's one of the considerations. And we've looked at, again, the Learn starts, you know, the end of August. We felt that works well. So we've had those conversations. I think they've understood, you know, why, and then we kind of explained the impact that would push us. Any additional days that we take off the beginning would put us to about the middle of June, which could push us then into that following week, which starts the 21st. So that could be pretty late, you know, still. And that was a lot of the considerations that we've had on that.
And we actually got some input from a parent who wanted to start later. And then we got input from another parent who wanted to start earlier. So, and the funny thing about the calendar is it's almost always a 50-50 split on every single issue. One person wants this, another person wants that. And it's like, you can't really win when you start doing like a deep study, because we've done it as a board, we've done surveys, we've done parent input, we've done whatever, and we finally realized we need to figure out what works best. We do typically have an extra day or two beyond what other districts have, and then you know, with snow days and where we use them up if they start to incur too far into June, you know, and all of that. So we've kind of over time come up with a really tried and true method. The only reason we parted with it this year was because of needing the extra week for the transition to the new school system design. So you know, going back to what we had been doing, kind of, I guess, got a couple people, you know, who preferred a later start to say, hey, we kind of like this year. But this year was, you know, a little bit of an outlier, so.
I just wanted to give it some comment at the public level to know that we do read the emails and we
Yeah.
do consider it, and just so that they understand the consideration and thoughtfulness involved in developing the calendar. And especially with such a late Labor Day, I mean, that really pushes it, you'd be pushed way into June, and that makes everyone unhappy as well. And it also impacts, you know, college things for those graduating seniors, et cetera. And then and also, you know, when I first joined the board, I didn't really understand the whole idea behind aligning our vacations, et cetera, with Learn, and the importance of that for parents who rely on some of the camps, the week-long camps for or daycare that they need when both parents work, et cetera. So there's a lot, you know, more that goes into it than just, you know, counting the number of days in the calendar year. So I just wanted to bring that to light. And then my other comment would be, I would really love for whenever we get the CIP changes, if there could just be like an accompanying, I know you go over it, and sometimes you don't talk as fast as I do, but sometimes it goes fast, it's not like that down. But if we could just have like a list of the changes, because I clearly don't remember what the previous
Oh, sure.
CIP looked like.
Yep.
So that would be great.
Sure.
And then when you were saying about the roof and window, that's the roof at Daniel Hand and the windows at Brown, and when you're talking about pavement, it was both the pavement for Hand as well as Polson.
That's what needs to
That you-
accomplish eventually. We moved only we'd previously moved out the paving at Brown, excuse me, Polson.
Okay, so
But
it was
it was
just
the
the,
paving at Hand
yeah,
that we moved
okay.
back, yeah.
I just want to clarify that.
Oh, it's-
And I do appreciate the planning and engineering removal of that 25K every year. And then we're gonna talk about security later. That was.
Yep.
Thank you. Did you have?
I just wanted to know if there was any discussion about putting the names of the holidays back onto the.
Let's not go there today.
I didn't receive any input from parents. I have from board members previously.
Yeah.
But we did not, haven't had any concern about it, but
Okay, so everybody seems happy with it.
It seems to.
Okay, well, you can always bring it up again, but
I know.
maybe when I'm gone.
We all have our thing. Yeah.
We do. Bring it up again.
Or not.
Or not. I might not. If no one else cares, I guess.
All right.
I don't think that, Marianne, I don't think it's that nobody else cares.
No, I meant if there's not a concern by other.
I think it was just such a big fight the first time to get the policy passed,
Yeah,
that, you know, to do it again so soon.
to go through it.
Yeah, but it can always come up again. Anything that, you know, is important to you is important to everyone. But maybe not today.
But no, not today.
Too soon.
Thanks.
Listen,
Okay, well, no, go ahead, sorry.
So this is Steven's last meeting.
Yeah, and I was gonna bring that up,
And
at board
actually-
member comments,
Like,
Oh,
to
there's
talk
another
about
board
that?
member comments?
yeah, under board member comments,
Oh,
you know, we're there
okay,
next.
oh, sorry, I'll wait. I have one other question that has to do with the superintendent. So, I remember that we had said the new school, Neck River, had come under budget. And I know there were some questions in the community about how much we were under budget, and was it because we didn't do the solar panels? If that was the reason for being under budget, and if it is, then once we're only waiting to do the solar panels because we want to not void the warranty for the new roof. So then, once the warranty for the new roof is at a year, or whatever,
Yeah.
then we're going to pursue the solar panels on Neck River. In which case then, would the money then be used at that time, in which case then it's not really it's under budget now, but it's not going to be under budget, you know what I'm saying? That was a lot.
Yes.
Following along.
I think I never scope. Right, it was, yeah, it was not part of the original scope, it was always talked about being accomplished because we wanted to do that for the energy savings, and that is the time after a roof has gone through that year to put it on, because it's a brand new roof. I would say two things. One, the piece of whether that's going to happen as part of the project or outside the project, that's not necessarily my decision. I support solar, and I would support the project going forward. And two, we are still doing some work to the school. Like we still have one of the workers from Gilbane there just about every day, and I'm working through some issues and things like that. We're still getting a heating system. So like, I think where we land in
It's
terms
not
of that,
finalized.
we're far from that. We still are, you know, have a lot of work to do getting all the state reimbursement. So it's you know, it's far from like a completed project where we can say this is the dollar amount. I wouldn't be the one to really say that anyway.
And so the building committee that was in charge of all this, they're still.
Still meeting bi-weekly, yeah.
Okay, so
approving
then
POs and
that would
yes,
be a
yep.
question
Yeah.
for them to answer, and since it's still ongoing, we're still not gonna have final numbers, is that?
However, that said, I'm our liaison to the new school building committee. And because I saw some questions about that, the very legitimate questions. I asked this, I posed that exact question to the committee at our last meeting last Monday night. And it's on video, people can go to YouTube and watch it. Even notwithstanding that there are still some punch list items that we're working through, some punch list items don't cost any money because they're just making sure, the GC making sure that the other contractors come back and finish things that they were supposed to finish and all of that. And there are some additional, you know, costs here and there, they're all relatively small costs at this point. And the strong feeling of the committee is that this project will ultimately come in full and final within budget. And the two questions that are outstanding are whether the town wants to and the Board of Selectmen want to have the school building committee work on, you know, using the funds to potentially demolish Ryerson, or whether that'll be done outside. The voters, it's felt largely that the voters understood that the school's renewal writ large would also include potentially
Right.
demolishing Ryerson. And I've been in favor of that personally, but not necessarily the Neck River School Project being in charge of that. So it's not within the charge of the Neck River School building committee at this point. So either it will be moved there and that committee will oversee it, or it won't be and that committee won't. And then the question is, that would, if it gets moved to the committee, would that use some of the builders contingent that we have left to do some of that? Or do we use that money toward the solar project once the 1 year roof warranty is over? Now, with the solar project, the good news is that a lot of that would be either paid in advance through either tax incentives or grant money upfront. And some of it would also be reimbursed probably through state programs after the fact. So even though it might cost, 1.3 million or something, let's say, a lot of that, or even more, a lot of that would be subsidized. So then we get over $200,000 savings a year, it looks like we would achieve through having a net zero school and having its energy covered through photovoltaic, solar. We would have about $210,000 or more in savings every year on our budget for energy costs. And a lot of the cost of that project would be reimbursed or grant money up front. So it still would bring the project in within budget at the end of the day and have a continuing positive benefit. So
And by waiting so that we don't void the warranty for the roof, we're not at risk at losing any of the grant money or anything like that for the.
I asked that, it doesn't seem like it.
Okay.
There's no known plan to claw back on grant money for that type of stuff at this point. And again,
I mean, nothing's 100%.
yeah, nothing's 100%. And again, that would be an added responsibility for the school building committee because it wasn't necessarily, written into the budget, so to speak, for the project. It was always an additive that we could consider if we came in
Yes, I
on
would
the
want to go
budget.
back, look at that document.
Yeah, the geothermal was part of the budget.
Definitely.
Geothermal was, but the roof
The
was.
solar panels were not on the roof?
It was always considered as a potential, but it was not within the budget.
I would highly suggest the selectmen meeting on the 22nd of September. Adam came and gave a really detailed
Oh, okay,
view. You might just zoom in on that topic. I think that would be useful when he talks about.
I'm gonna watch the
All
whole
these-
thing.
As you should, as you should, please.
And I invite members of the audience and people online watching us on YouTube to check out the school building committee meeting that happened last Monday, which was the 21st. Was it?
20th,
I think, what?
20th.
20th, thank you, 20th of October. And you'll get a deeper recitation of that. Thank you. Okay, so if no other questions for Craig, then we'll thank you. We'll move on to board member comments. I have a whole bunch of thanks and congratulations to share that I'll start, and then I know people will want to jump in, but Zoe, congratulations on the communications awards, and Diane also for the one that's related to policy. That's great. Congratulations, good job. I was able to thank Art Sickle at his going away party, and we had quite a few board members there, so thank you for that. He has been an institution in our district for a long time. We greatly appreciate all of his excellent work. He was really gifted at getting the most out of our contracts with food services, with transportation, and with a whole slew of other items, and he kept our communications running well, and computers. And I remember when I was new to the board, they were talking about doing a fiber optics update, and he got that done for all the buildings, and he was just he's been a tremendous boon to this district, and I want to congratulate him for his wonderful service and thank him again publicly for the wonderful work that he's done. Thank you, Art. I want to turn my attention now to Stephen because this is Stephen's last meeting on the board. Stephen, I just, I want to thank you personally as a friend and also, as the board chair. You've been, an amazing, resource to this board in so many ways that go unseen sometimes at meetings, but your steady presence, your gravitas that is built on a career in education, a very successful career in education, your experience and the wisdom you bring that really helped to articulate the vision behind a lot of our curriculum work that we do, which is second to none. You've really helped the board to understand why it's important that we involve the teachers and have a teacher-led process and have the teacher buy-in. And why the work that Gail does and that Craig supports is so important to this district. And in the last 4 years that you've been on the board, I think you've done a heck of a lot to really advance this board and this district more than probably most people recognize. And I think it ought to be recognized. And I just want to thank you so much for your friendship, for your sound advice, and all the time behind the scenes, and for all the great work you've done as our curriculum chair and elsewise. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. What else? Maureen?
You did a beautiful job. You covered a lot of territory, but I just wanted to personally also say thank you. I've learned so much from you. I've been so inspired by you. I love how you make a point, everybody's quiet, we're all on the edge of our seats, we wanna hear what you have to say. Because we know it's sound advice and based on your experience and your perspective. I love in particular how you always bring us all back to the mission and the profile of a graduate. The passion you felt for those things from day one, and it's still here and it's top of mind with me all the time because of you. So I'm gonna miss you terribly. I feel like we all are, and I just want to say thank you so very much.
Thank you. Thanks.
Stephen, I feel the same way as Maureen. I really do. But what I love about you is that you love the kids and that the kids are your number one priority and have been since the day you started here. And that's what we're here for. And you are such an advocate for them. And I love it.
I'll jump in. Say one of the fringe benefits of being on the board is to meet great people, make new friends, but it's all in service for the town, the young people, and I'm just so impressed by your expertise and experience. And it's just been nothing but a pleasure, and you are a multiplier for good lives to come. Thank you.
We're really gonna miss you.
I don't know what I can add to that. All my notes have been covered. I think, but there's theme from I think what all of us have said, and which is what I wanted to talk about too. It's like, when you talk, we listen. And I'm always curious and eager at meetings when we're having a discussion. I want to wait and hear what you have to say, because I know, like others have said, that you're going to help us see the big picture, take a step back from all the other potential noise. And that's so valuable. I think you've really been sort of a model board member in that regard. And like you said, Marianne, it's been clear from, even before you joined, that your true devotion and commitment to young people. And like Maureen said, your impact will be far, far long lasting. So you are going to be missed, but I know I learned a lot from you too and really admire you.
Thank you.
I'm the last one to go.
Yes.
So, when I first met you, I didn't realize like how much background you had in education, and it's a lot, and it's so much experience, and I have to say that I have learned a lot from you, and I think you've done such an excellent job on curriculum, and your focus has always been the students, but also whether it was, in an executive session or in a regular board meeting, you have this knack of sort of focusing on what's important. We might go off on like a million tangents and then you speak And you bring it all back into focus about what are we supposed to be focused on and what is the important thing, and it's been so helpful. And so I'm gonna miss you. Thank you for all your work.
You know. Want you to know. And these aren't just words. It has been one of the great honors in my life. To serve on this board with you folks. You know, leaving town. You know, people go, you're leaving the beaches, you're leaving. I will tell you. The one singular regret I have in needing to make this move is leaving this board. And that's a true statement. The other thing I want you to know is being on this board has been a profound challenge for me because I'm deaf. And everyone on this board in this district and Zoe have worked hard to accommodate that challenge. With the microphones, with the connection, with the transcripts, with all of these things, you know, in meetings that we've had, that you've directed your statements to me and accommodated that challenge. Okay, what that's called is equity. When I was running, I wasn't sure that I could do it. Now I have people that work with me on my hearing and they're going, it's gonna be a stretch, it's gonna be a challenge. And I chose to take that risk. Because what happens when people are hearing impaired, they retreat. And they retreat more and more. I wasn't gonna do that. You know, and I won't occupy more time other than tell you how privileged I have been all along. And how grateful I am to how hard you worked to make it possible for me to be able to give the best that I could give in this board. The other thing I'm particularly proud of, and then I'll be quiet. You know, it's no mystery, there's a great deal of division in our country right now. This board, in my perspective, has been a model of how people can work together for community, for children, for families. That, you know, everything you said about me can be said about each of you. We have put the kids first all along, and really, you know, differences have been worked out. So, you know, it's a tribute to this board and to each of you. And again, I'm tremendously grateful. And every time I come, I go, you know, I'm able to do this because I have the support of all of you. So thank you.
Thank you, Steve. We will miss you tremendously. Thank you. Okay, any other board member comments? No, thank you. Any audience response to information presented? Anyone online? No, okay, thank you. Board committee and liaison updates. First would be curriculum and student development. Stephen.
So we had a meeting that was scheduled for October 14th. Unfortunately, we had to cancel and postpone that meeting because we didn't have a quorum. That being said, there are a couple action items on tonight's meeting that deal with the focus of those meetings, and those were curriculum units that they were looking for board approval, and those curriculum units are in your packet. Hopefully some of you or all of you have had an opportunity to look at those, but what they cover is curriculum units in social studies 4 and 5. I'll tell you in brief synopsis,
those units are worth looking at in terms of what they cover for fourth and fifth graders, in terms of the revolution, in terms of the structure of government. And what you'll see through all of those units is profile of the graduate, but also opportunities to do activities and do things that do bring joy to learning and application. We'll see that particularly in the next item, which is STEAM K through 5. And you'll see when you go through there, there's several references to students utilizing makerspace to be able to solve problems. And it's, you can't help but look at those units and go, one, there's a very good thought that went into them, and it's aligned with profiles of graduate, but you look at it and you go, God, the kids are gonna have a great time doing this stuff. ELA units 1 and 2 for K through 3. I would say the focus that you will see in those is there's a clear effort, obviously, to build the fundamental skills around vocabulary and understanding and the structures of reading. But there's a tremendous amount of effort that also goes into building lifelong readers and joy of reading. So there's, a lot of, storytelling and read alouds and involving the kids in projects that will hook them to reading. And then last is a geometry unit, which, from my perspective is pretty straightforward, but worthy of adoption. The other item that is also an action item tonight is an international trip, Bermuda trip in April of 2026. I will tell you, I'm very familiar because of my previous life as a high school principal. I did this trip with my students many, many, many times. And it's, it is a great trip in terms of their opportunity to really experience working alongside scientists on marine science projects. In addition to that, they get exposed to different culture. In addition to that, they get to do some skin diving and coral reefs and a variety of things that I guarantee you they will never forget. But they come back with samples and work with sciences in the lab. So it is a trip I personally have experience in, and when we get to that action item, I will be hoping that we approve it. Short of not having a meeting, you got some information that impacts tonight, and that would be the end of my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Stephen?
Just a little concern over the field trip to Bermuda, considering the current hurricane situation.
How much is that?
The hurricane situation now,
Fine. Yeah.
I mean, if
Hope-
they need us
hopefully
to
still
approve
be
it, yeah, they need us to approve it in order to go forward with it, but. I mean, there's a risk of cancellation if it's sort of. Has damage on the storm. Will they, I mean, do you know, like, will they still go forward with it after this storm if it's like really damaged there, or will they just scrap it, or will they try to like do something different, or?
I don't really know, but I would assume, because if you look at the application, there is. I think there is language that speaks to the potential cancellation, but.
And we always make sure there's travel insurance and so, all
And you
that.
wouldn't know anyway, I mean,
Right.
we don't know where the hurricane's gonna go from.
Yeah, I mean.
Well, in
April-
2 days we will.
Yeah,
Yeah, well,
Right.
good news is Bermuda's up further.
yes, right, it doesn't seem like it's gonna.
Yeah, near us. Bermuda, yeah.
As long as they get to wear Bermuda shorts while they're there, that's the important
That's
thing.
very important.
I guess whatever shorts they wear there, they're gonna be Bermuda shorts. So, thank you, Stephen. Okay, next facilities, Emily.
We've not met since our last report.
Thank you. Finance Committee, Galen.
We also have not met, no report.
Personnel Committee,
Personnel Committee has not met. Our next meeting will be on November 6th.
thank you very much. Policy Committee, this committee met tonight, I know
We
for a
met.
fact.
We met tonight and we discussed 4 policies that you will be seeing, hopefully at the next meeting, whenever that is. And we are suggesting that we waive the second read. It's all to make us compliant with changes in statutes or simple changes that hopefully should go through no problem. There's only 4. And 4.
Thank you. Learn liaison, Anthony or Tony is not here. He's at a conference. But I don't believe they had
They
another
didn't.
meeting since his last report. So we have a special update today from our Board of Selectmen liaison, Scott Murphy, who's been waiting patiently in the wings for
The only member of the audience.
Welcome back.
Welcome back. Thank you. So I'm wearing I was gonna tell this to both Grace and Catherine, but I'm wearing my costume tonight. I'm a Board of Selectmen member, so. First, I guess I would thank you for having me, by the way. And I would like to echo your many contributions to Steve Penn, his congratulations. Thank you for everything you've done for the Board of Ed, certainly from a Board of Selectmen standpoint. You're very much appreciated. Your grace, your experience that you bring to this town is immense, and it was very, very much appreciated by, I know, the administration, by the students and by the teachers. So thank you.
Thank you.
And then I would also like to raise my hand to go to Bermuda as well, if I might. So that sounds like a fantastic trip. I'm going to bring you back in time for 2 meetings, which I think may just give you some good context. So our Board of Selectmen meeting on the 14th of October. I'll just give you a quick summary of that one, and then I'll go to the 27th, which was actually last night. On the 14th, probably the primary topics that we talked about were the Surf Club Master Plan, which I know is a interesting topic across our town. There are going to be public information sessions on the 12th of November at 7 p.m. at Neck River, and on the 11th of December at the Senior Center. So those are good ones for the public to be aware of, and thought that your audience might also benefit from hearing that as well. Another topic that has sort of, I think, a relevance to this community and an intersection, certainly with your youth liaisons, as I see them in my other meetings, are the social worker program that the Madison Police Department has been doing. Maya Cadell is our social worker that rides with our police force, and it's been a hugely successful program. They're up to about 179 engagements over the past year, which are basically cases. I mean, sad but true, these are very important cases that have social and emotional issues, challenges that require follow-up. And you know, really leading to some crisis intervention and follow-up things that happen at the end. And so they're obviously looking to make the program work long term. I believe the funds are running out in May or April, and we're going to have to then look to figure out funding going forward. So both the chief and all the captains were there sponsoring the program, and then obviously Scott Cochran from Madison Youth Family Services. So it was very well received by the Board of Selectmen. We did hear a brief academy update in terms of our expression of interest that is still out there, and we're awaiting. We did have, I believe, 8 organizations that did the internal tour of academy, and so we're waiting with bated breath to see what comes back. But there are some ideas, I believe, percolating. So we'll see what happens. I mean, the intent really is to make this cost neutral to the town and revenue generating if possible. So that is the current focus. Quick fast forward now to last night's meeting on the 27th. It was an interesting one. We did appoint 2 individuals to our ad hoc facilities committee, which has, again, another connection here to the Board of Ed and to Madison Public Schools. So Vance Taylor and Megan, I'm brutalize her name here, but Girolamo are now on the ad hoc facilities committee. And we approved funds to move forward with what we're calling a multi-site conceptual plan development. A lot of words there, but in essence, we're gonna start looking at some of the spaces in town, some of the empty lots, under vacant, underutilized properties in town, try to figure out how we put all the Lego pieces together in some level of a master plan for the town. So that's the goal of the facilities committee, and we're leveraging some outside consultants to start getting us some of the data to help us really get informed. Austin then came and talked to us a bit about Meals on Wheels last night. There is some funding that is running out called, which I didn't know this was the name, but it's called Marcus money. So that money is running out, and they're looking for interesting creative ways to figure out how to generate fundraising across the community to continue this really important program that we have in town. There's 11,000 meals per year that are delivered in Madison, 60 per day. So it was pretty impressive just to hear those numbers, and only about 17% of the costs are covered. So we do get some donations right now, but we're trying to figure out now how do we really understand the total cost, and then where do we get the donations from. Nomad, our North Madison Fire Company, came and they're getting creative with a 2004 rescue truck, and are going to refurbish that as opposed to buying a new one. So I think he said something about a new one might be in the range of 1.3 million. So this is going to be far less than that to refurbish the rescue truck. It is 2004, but the mileage was low, so it made sense to continue to do that. The largest topic of the night last night, and I'm sure this is going to be riveting to you guys, wastewater management. It was a big topic to understand. We had a study come back and provide their final report to us about how we're going to start dealing with wastewater predominantly down near the shoreline, and how nitrogen affects the sound and gets into the sound with outdated septic systems, cesspools, things like that people have on their properties. And so we're looking to create things that are called wastewater districts. So we're going to start figuring out how to implement this report. It's a 180-page report that Weston and Sampson did for us. And it really details all the challenges, issues, costs, things we need to be thinking about in some very interesting low-level, elevation areas of our town that have impact to the sound. So our health director was on with us, looking at the environmental impacts, trying to really think about being proactive from an environmental standpoint, and start getting our residents up to that sort of level of minimum in the town, which is very important. We also talked about triggering events and what that might look like. So those were the primary topics. Any questions? That was a lot.
Question about,
Please.
so I know Madison is totally septic, right?
Yeah. Septic, but there is some city water, obviously.
Right, we have science.
Yep.
But how, I mean, I lived on Long Island my whole life, we had sewers.
Yeah.
Right on the water.
Yeah.
I know. I mean, is that ever considered a?
It's just high cost. So I think one of the options was in these areas of our town to start looking at septic, but it's cost prohibitive. It's 24 million for a particular sewer system in a small area of town, as opposed to, there were different things that they talked about. There were, mess them up, but they were called ATIs, as opposed to a small septic system is like 30,000. An ATI is sort of that next level, that's in the range of like 80,000. So there's different levels of systems you can put in place, and then also remediation that can happen as well. So there's a lot of unreported systems that are out there too, which I was rather surprised about. People that might have a cesspool that, a house gets passed along from generation, and you don't realize that they've got a cesspool, which then is leaching into the sound. So yeah, it's kind of gross. So we're working to start to move in a positive direction. It's baby steps, and it's we're not gonna move the needle immediately, but it's an important step for sure. but it was a very interesting topic. Yes, I did. I learned a lot. I did.
Yeah. Get some light reading today.
Yeah, I know. 180 pages. Oh my goodness.
That's time for you.
Right? It's like reading policy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Scott,
Yeah.
thanks for your report.
Yeah, of course.
Do you have any insight on the at least the process that the Board of Selectmen may undertake to determine how to handle a potential Ryerson demolition and or installation of solar on Neck River Elementary School? Because again, those were not necessarily part of
Yeah,
the
no,
project, and
it's a great
they
question.
either go in or not in.
Absolutely.
the project.
I think what we approved last night is a really good first step. So the facility committee with this new data that we're gonna look at is gonna start looking at, you know, feasibility to do things on the Ryerson property. Feasibility to do things at the Jeffrey property. One of them that was thrown out there that I think you guys have talked about is would the Board of Education, Madison Public Schools, move into Jeffrey as an idea and cohabitate with Madison Youth and Family Services? So an idea that's being floated around there, they're looking at feasibility of all these buildings. Yes, and solar would absolutely be another conversation that would happen down the road. We really need the Neck River project to close out first before we really understand the total cost, what's remaining, albeit Gilbane is pretty confident that there will be
Yes.
an under budget.
All right, thank you.
Yeah, you bet.
Any other questions for Scott?
Are you coming back next time?
I'll come back whenever you ask me to come back.
Well, we
Once a month, maybe once a month.
pretty much, Scott has offered to come quarterly, so thank you. very
That'd
much.
Yeah,
Or whatever we ask.
Or
You said it. You said it.
Because you got nothing else to do.
We don't forget. We don't forget.
yeah.
Thank you very much.
Of course.
Thank you, Scott.
Yeah, you bet.
Okay, so now we move on to the action item portion of the agenda. I need a motion to approve an international trip to Bermuda in April 2026.
So
So Mary Ann, and do I have a second?
Second.
Second from Stephen. Thank you. Any discussion on that?
Scott Murphy.
Yeah. Any discussion? No? All in favor, aye?
I,
All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Sorry, just
Seven, I was not informed of other absences.
yes, there we go. Thank you. All right, I need a motion to adopt the following curriculum units. Social studies, grade 4 and 5, STEAM, grades K to 5, ELA, English Language Arts, units 1 and 2, and grades K to 3, geometry. ELA, units 1 and 2, for grades K to 3, and geometry. Do I have a motion? Stephen,
Second.
second by, was that Diane? Thank you. Any discussion? Discussion, in viewing it, it all looks typically amazing and thought provoking and engaging for the students and all coming, bubbling forth from the minds of the teachers, the educators, so it looks good and I plan to vote for it. Any further
Want to
discussion?
say that I, read through it and we have the new reading requirements by the state and we are getting these in here. I see we've got geos and the bookworms and citations and so we are fine.
we're good to go.
Yes, we are. We have found a way to both educate our students the way we would like to and continue our excellent success rate with achievement in reading while at the same time finding a way to fit in that stuff.
We're already using some of them anyway, so.
Right, yeah.
But
So,
thank you for your work on that, Steve.
Yes, and thank you, Stephen, and thanks to Gail as well, who's with us tonight. All right, I'll call the question. All in favor, aye. All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? No. All right, motion carries 7-0. Action item 10, I need a motion to approve the 2026-2027 budget calendar.
So moved.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you very much. Any discussion on the budget calendar? This isn't the academic calendar. No?
I just want to point
Oh,
out one
go ahead.
difference, especially when you look at it over 2 years, it's a pretty significant difference. So the vote for the town would be April 28th. We're very much in support of that. It allows us to start planning for next year once the budget is approved. I think that works well within the time frame. I just wanted to draw out that it's 1 week earlier than last year. It's 2 weeks earlier than the year before. And so I think it's really in a good spot. I don't think it could be any earlier. I think that's exactly where it should be. So we appreciate the Board of Selectmen, Board of Finance with that, making that one.
That's really gonna confuse me.
Yeah.
I'm about to get the signs out earlier. Yes.
Oh, signs out.
I mean, I know.
All right, any further discussion, questions? Seeing none, all in favor, aye. All opposed, nay. Ayes have it, 7-0. And thank you as well to Stacy and to Galen for, I know they do a lot of work on getting that calendar prepared. Action item number 11, I need a motion to approve the 26-27 academic calendar.
So moved.
Second.
Emily, thank you. And Diane, second. Any discussion? Mary Ann's looking at me with that twinkle in her eye.
It's okay, next time.
All right, thank you very much. No discussion. All in favor, aye.
I,
All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Action item 12. I need a motion to approve the revised 2026-2027 capital improvement program.
So moved.
Emily, thank you. Do I
Second.
have a second? That's Diane. Thank you. Any discussion? I think I would just like to offer that, I think this should be seen as yet again another cooperative, another opportunity for the Board of Ed to show cooperation with the broader administration, to try and help keep things reasonably priced in town. I would just caution that we need to be careful to make sure we can maintain our facilities. And we hope that garnering some good faith on this occasion and others will continue to help us in that regard. So thank you.
And I'd like just to point out that,
Yes.
like, we passed this, but it's not really up to us, because then it goes to Board of Finance and they vote on it, and then they tell us whether or not we reduce it. So when we are kicking things down the road, it's not always all us. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. But and I should
It
say,
is.
because I am a little sensitive to some social media that has gone out recently with my face on it. About 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I was commenting on the fact that for many, many years, this town had been in the habit of kicking the can down the road. And then as a result, we built up kind of big reserves. And if you have really big reserves beyond what we are required to maintain in reserve by best practices, in order to keep our AAA bond rating, then in effect, you're taxing our taxpayers, but you're also not upkeeping our facilities. So my point on that occasion was actually a fairly conservative point, fiscally speaking, was to not overtax folks and just sit on the money, and instead favoring, let's make sure our facilities are upkept, so we don't have like emergency blowouts of things
Rooftop
that-
units.
rooftop units and roofs and boilers. And things and leaks and things that become very costly and end up needing special appropriations and all of that. So thank you, whoever brought that legitimate question up in the peanut gallery. And thanks for this opportunity to discuss it. Yeah, so all in favor of our motion to approve the revised 26-27 capital improvement plan? Aye.
Aye.
All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? Motion carries 7-0. Thank you. Action item 13. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the October 14th, 2025 Board of Education meeting.
So move.
Stephen, thank you. Do I have a second for the October 14th minutes?
Second.
Thank you, Mary Ann. Any discussions, changes, edits, amendments? Seeing none, all in favor, aye. Aye. All opposed, nay. Any abstentions? We have one abstention, so 6-0-1.
Oh, you know what? I was.
You don't have to.
You don't have to.
Oh,
Choose to.
I read,
You read it in your.
but I listened.
Yeah, you're entitled to vote on it. You don't have to recuse yourself. Some people choose to
Oh,
recuse
okay.
themselves.
How about-
So, okay, so we'll keeping the vote 6-0-1. So one abstention, six ayes. Thank you. And now, we have I need a motion to move into executive session to discuss security and to get a security update.
So moved.
And that would be at 8:10 or 8:08 PM, and
Move the-
that would include Dr. Craig Cook in the session.
And I
with
so
us.
move.
And thank you. Moved by Diane, do I get a second?
Second.
Maureen, thank you. All right, we will go off record now for our executive session. Thank you. Thanks, Scott, thank you.
Thank you for coming, Scott. How long was your